Okay, so I thought of this class today. The knees. We're going to work on strengthening. Now, you don't actually strengthen the knees, you strengthen the muscles around your knees, but that's going to be the focus. It is also going to be a good workout. That's the best part. First thing we're going to do, self-assessment of your knees. So there's two ways to bend your knees. Well, there's only one way, but one way to bend your knees, and this is the test, is you're going to send your knees forward and keep your hips right over your heels. And you're going to go down, and then once you feel it in your knees, you're going to stop, okay? So I don't feel anything. I still don't feel anything. I can go pretty low. I still don't feel it, but let's say I feel it here, a little twinge. Notice that, okay? Second way that we essentially bend the knees is we push our hips back, and this is more like a squat. I'm opening my feet up here. So push your hips back, push your hips back, push your hips back. Wait until you feel something in your knees. You might not, like I still don't feel. I can go all the way down. I won't feel anything, right? Notice, okay? What we're going to work on is we're going to improve that. So at the end of the class, we're going to test that again, and we're going to see the improvement. Now, little science before we start. Ooh, science lesson together. Okay, so neutral stance here. This is my own theory for general knee recovery, is the knee does not exist, all right? It's an illusion. You have this bone called your tibia, which is essentially an ankle bone, and you have this bone, which is your femur, right? And they connect. But a better way to think about it is you have your ankles and you have your hips, okay? So what we'll do is we'll start with a little hip mobility. So you push to the right here, right? See how I shifted my weight? I can push forward, boom, to the left, and then back. This is called stir the pot, so I'm kind of exploring. Now this is actually, I'm moving my pelvis as well as my hips, okay? Now, keep stirring the pot, but if you look, my ankles are also moving in a circle. It's when my ankles don't move and my hips move that my knees start to get a lot of this rotation, which that's what's causing the knee problems, okay? So next, this little Tai Chi move is, well, let's do it from here. Essentially, bend over, put your hands on your knees, and you're gonna go in a circle. Now, it looks like my knees are going in a circle, but it's really my ankles. So I'm exploring my ankles, okay? Switch directions, exploring the ankles here. Like I said, it looks like my knees are moving, but it's really my ankles, okay? Now, next one for the ankles. You're going to roll in on the insides of your feet, and you'll see my knees collapse. I almost wore shorts for this workout, but I would never. Collapse in here, knees come in. Notice that feet, and actually my hips are coming together, okay? Important one. Now you go to the outside, roll to the outside of your feet. You notice the knees bow out, and the hips move. It's very hard to move a hip without moving your ankle, if not impossible. All right, so say that again. You're going to go in, knees collapsing, out with the ankles, rolling out, okay? So when we go to do our squat, and I'm going to show you from the front, we want to make sure we're not caving in at the ankle and the knee, but we also, and this is rare, you want to make sure you're not bowing out like this, excessive. What we're going to be working on is how to get that straight down, which actually is a little bit of an angle, okay? So next thing is we're going to look at the hips, okay? So what I can do is I can squeeze my glutes through, little ballet move here. I'm squeezing my glutes through like this, tightening everything up, and this actually, if you look at it, will rotate the knees out. It's a very, well, it's my theory, why ballet they do this, is so I can squeeze my glutes without rotating my knees, because if you're standing neutral here and you squeeze your glutes, your knees roll out, okay? Now, another one, is I take my hip bones here, and you might not get this at first, but I'm going to roll them in like this, and my knees are coming in as I'm turning. And what that feels like is, imagine your feet were together, and you squeeze your toes, and you push your heels out. This is the pigeon toe right here. I'm trying to create that movement with my hips. Okay? We're going to get there in a second. All right, so our goal for today, to strengthen the muscles around our legs, is to get our hips and ankles in a line and our knees going straight over our toes as we come into squat, and then as we come into, I guess what we call a front squat here, right? Getting the knees to go straight down without this knocking or caving in, okay? So with that, we are going to use the mat. So if you need to, roll the mat up so you can put your knee down. We're only going to do one exercise on the knee. It is just very important, okay? So I got a nice thick mat. I don't need to roll it up. But coming down to the ground like we do right here, right? Bend the knees, bring your hands down. I'm in crawl. So actually a good test to see if you have like actual structural damage in the knee is if you kneel down and you get sharp burning pains in your knee. That might actually be a sign you have some structural damage. It's rare, okay? A lot of times it's just uncomfortable. All right, so we're going to be in kneeling lunge, okay? We're going to do it for approximately 1 minute. So in kneeling lunge, this gives me a chance to look at my knee over my toe, okay? And we're going to explore how far forward can I send my knee, right, without it going over my toe. That looks pretty good. You'll notice you're stretching the back hip as you're sending this knee forward. Two things at the same time, okay? Now, I'm going to reset to neutral. Now, notice what I can do is I can send my knee and hip in. Ooh, probably not that good, right? Don't want to do that. You can also send your knee out. Probably not as comfortable, okay? We're trying to go straight over, okay? So, now that we have that, what we're going to do is raise your toe up, this front toe, and I want you to feel like you're pulling that heel back. That's going to activate this muscle, your hamstring, probably the best reason. This is going to save your knees, okay? So I'm here. I'm pulling back with my heel. You see how I move the mat, right? Now what we're going to do is I'm pulling back. As I'm pulling back, I'm going to send this knee forward. Watch what happens to the toe. Boom. Now I'm in the same position, but this hamstring is completely turned on and activated. There it is. My glute's a little turned off. Okay? Boom. That's what we want. That is going to be the safest position for the knee. We're going to work more on that on our backs so we don't destroy our kneecaps, okay? So we're going to switch legs. Okay? Now you know what to do. We can move a little quicker. So here in neutral stance, I'm going to look at my knee, look at my toe. I'm going to send my knee all the way to the edge of my toe. Okay? I don't want to go past that point. This isn't Tai Chi, okay? Here, and I'm holding. Now we can experiment dropping in. Ooh, not the most comfortable thing in the world. Coming out. Okay, good. Now, like we did before, I'm going to put my heel up, or my toe up, and I'm going to pull back. Call it sticky foot. I didn't say it on your side, but here, pulling back. Get this whole hamstring turned on, okay? As I'm pulling back, I'm going to lean my weight forward. Notice my toe comes down, and my back of the leg muscle is completely fired up, and I'm holding and release. It's the difference between this and this, right? And you can't, if you could see my muscles contracting, that'd be pretty cool. Okay? And release. So we're going to work on that same thing on our backs, okay? So let's go ahead and roll onto our backs. So when I was learning about rehabbing the knees and I guess let's go on our backs. Traditionally, they'll do stretching to help with the knee rehabilitation. So they would do kind of our classic ones, the cross, the figure four. We'll do them briefly here. However, as we got more advanced, and this is women who have knee problems due to the fact that they have more flexibility in their hips, rarely is the knee issue coming from an immobility or lack of flexibility in the hips. So when I work knee rehabilitation now, especially with women, it's not sexist, it's just anatomy. I do very little stretching. It's not super important. What is important though, sorry for screaming, is our hip and ankle stability. So we're very familiar here with the bridge, so let's go ahead and do it. I'm bring my feet forward, my feet are flat. Now there's two ways to bridge. It's called a Pilates bridge. I'm going to tuck, suck, squeeze my glutes, and I want to imagine peeling my hips off. And I'm really tight through my glute muscles. This is a Pilates bridge. It's a posterior. My pelvis is tucked. Now you'll notice from here, squeezing your glutes, give your inner thighs a little squeeze. Oh, okay, but don't squeeze your thighs together. Inner thighs a little squeeze. And you'll notice that if I want to keep going up, so keep going up, keep bridging, but keep tucking your hips, eventually you're going to lose the ability to tuck your hips, and that's okay. It's anatomically impossible to keep your hips tucked as you go this high up. Okay, and recover. So that's the first one. Then we have what I'm calling an athletic bridge today, is I'm going to tuck, suck, and squeeze, but I'm going to allow my lumbar to have a little bit of curve. And as I bridge, I'm going to bridge up as high as I can, boom, and you'll notice right here in the lower back, you may not notice, but right here in the lower back, it's sort of rounded. That gives me this nice tilted position. This is a very strong position for our glutes. I'm going to hold that, okay? Now let's the game begin, okay? So look up at your knees, all right? Tuck, suck, and squeeze Pilates bridge. As you come up, tuck, make sure your knees are tracking straight. Like very commonly, as you go up, one of them is going to come in, okay? So tuck, suck, and squeeze and lift. and down. Pilates bridge, tuck, suck, and squeeze and lift, and down. Good. Tuck, suck, and squeeze and lift, and down. Tuck, suck, and squeeze and lift, and down. Did your knees move in a perfectly straight line? I hope so. Okay, athletic bridge. So we're going to go all the way up. I'm going to look at my knees here. I don't know why I'm going to hold my head up, though. And here we go. And tuck, suck, and squeeze, and bridge all the way up. Boom. And down, bridging all the way up. And down. Good. Bridging all the way up. And down, bridging all the way up. And down. One more. Bridging all the way up. And relax. All right, we're going to explore two other kinds of bridges, and this is more for the ankles. So bring your feet in. This is like a narrow bridge. I actually call it a high heel bridge. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my heels in the air so I'm on the balls of my feet, okay? And once I'm on the balls of my feet, what I'm going to do is I'm going to tuck, suck, and squeeze Pilates bridge, and I want to feel the weight in the ball of my feet. The ball of my feet. Balls of my feet? All right, whatever. Balls of my feet. There it is. Plurals. Okay, holding. Tuck, suck, and squeeze. Now, this is the trick, is I want to use my feet to push my weight that way. And I'm driving off the front. Now, people with patellar tendonitis, when they're driving this front off the toe, they might experience something in the front of the knee. I assure you in this position is quite all right. So I'm here, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Use your toes, push back. Pushing back this way. And I'm getting that strength. This is actually through your calf muscles, right? And I'm pushing and release, okay? So let's do it again. Heels up, tuck, suck, and squeeze, Pilates bridge, and push and release. One more time. Here we go. Ready? Tuck, suck, and squeeze. I'm going kind of fast, I know. Lift and push and release. So the advanced practitioner, you'll notice when I'm pushing, this part of my sternum wants to lift up. That's a good sign. Let me put my hands down. That might help you guys. Okay, here. Let's do one more together, and I'll show you the midsection here. So heels up, tuck, suck, and squeeze, lift. Now from here, push towards your head, push. You see how my chest wants to lift? Push. That's okay. We want that. Okay? Good. And relax. Because now when we go into the athletic bridge, you're going to notice this whole part open up very nicely. Okay? So, slowing down. Too slow. Okay, here we go. Heels up. Right? Tuck, suck, and squeeze. I'm going to come into an athletic bridge, so I'm going to come all the way up as high as I can. Okay, you can already start to see my mid-back and my chest is getting, I guess, straighter or more rounded. But now what I'm going to do is I'm breathe in, and when I exhale, I'm going to push with my feet, and you see how my sternum lifts up like that? Like I literally can't push without my coming up here and release. Now let's look at our knees this time. Looking at the knees. Pilates bridge, tuck, suck, and squeeze, heels up, lift, and I'm going to push. All right, my knees are straight. Good, and release. All this is going to come quite in handy in a moment. So this is actually called muscle activation. We're activating muscles we're going to use in, I guess, larger chain sequences. So when we stand up, I'll show you. Is my mic still on? All right, we're good. That was a break. All right, so from here, that narrow bridge, now we're going to do an extended bridge. So this is the last one on our backs too. Boom and boom. I'm walking my feet away from my head. Bring my hands down so you can see. Actually, I want to bring them up so you can see my hips. All right, so from here, extended bridge, my toes are up. I'm going to tuck, suck, and squeeze. I'm going to come into Pilates bridge. Okay? Now, instead of pushing with my heels, which is not really their function, I'm going to hook my feet into the ground and imagine pulling my butt towards my feet. Looks like this. Boom. Now, I exaggerated. You may not actually hook and move like that, but here, I'm going to hook and move. Reminds you of the sticky feet, right? Okay, hold and release. You should really feel it in the back of your legs. A lot of people cramp when they do this one. It's actually kind of funny. Okay? Tuck, suck, and squeeze. Bridge up. Funny when you're not the one cramping. Okay? Neutral, pelvis, Pilates bridge, and hook. Look at your knees straight. Feel these back of the leg muscles. See, my right glute's kind of turned off. Hook and release. Okay, don't strain your neck like I did. Good. All right. You didn't realize the glutes were so complicated. Very complicated. Here we go. And tuck, suck, and squeeze. Hold. Pilates bridge. Here, hook the heels in the ground. Pull, squeeze, pull, squeeze, and release. All right, if you've been paying attention, class, you know what's happening next. Is we're going to come into extended bridge, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Come all the way up into athletic bridge. Okay, and my hands are going to be down so you can see, get this nice lift in my sternum. And we're going to hook all the way, hook, 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 and release. I don't know about you guys, but my shins are getting tired. Okay, hands down. Let's do 2 more. Ready? And tuck, suck, and squeeze. Lift up all the way, and hook, hook, and release. I'm really exaggerating the hook. You guys can do it like that, okay? Last one. And look at this. I'm going to try with my toes kind of down this way. All right, breathe in. Exhale, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Lift the hips up all the way, athletic bridge, and hook. And relax. Oh, my goodness. Woo, nice job. All right, so next one, we're going to go on the side. We're moving through right here. Oh, did I say this class is going to be 5 hours? I should have told you. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Calm down. All right, we're going to go on the side. Okay, so from here, I'm going to roll onto the side. Now, you got 2 positions on the side. You can either do sleeper, which is like this, make a pillow, or you can do model, which is like this. There's actually a 3rd position called mermaid, which is this one. Or this is, I don't remember. I make the names up. This one, I don't recommend doing this one. I'm going to do model because it looks cool like this, right? Okay, so tuck, squat, and squeeze the hips. You want to keep your feet together. Lift this top knee up. Now, in some PT studios, they have your back against the wall because they don't want you rolling, right? That's not really using your glute. So I'm here, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Lift this knee up and hold. You've seen this one with the bands, right? We don't need a band, and I'll show you why, because we're going to do isometrics. I'm going to hold here, okay? I'm going to take my hand. I'm going to push into my hand, and then push my knee into my hand. Hold, okay? Keep that contraction without your hand, and move your hand back here to your butt, and you should feel the infamous side glute, okay? Firing up and release. If you don't feel it, usually what happens is you're rolling to that back shoulder. So lift the top leg up, hand out here, push the hand to the knee, knee into hand. Hold, feeling that side glute, okay, and down. Now what you should be able to do is you should be able to squeeze that side glute and pull that knee up. Squeeze that side glute, pull that knee up. Squeeze that side glute, pull that knee up. Squeeze that. Okay, I'll stop. Here, hold. Now we're going to go into fire hydrant. I'm going to lift this foot up. I'm kind of confusing the names here, but that's okay. Here, lift this foot up, okay. I'm going to hold. As I'm holding, you should start to feel this side glute turning on. We're just going to use it in a second here. Now I'm going to kick my leg out. Now, if you guys have done a lot of mat Pilates, you know these ones and these ones and these ones, and we're not doing any of those. We're just going to hold, okay? I'm going to use my core muscles because the tendency is I'm going to roll back. So lock my core muscles in. I'm going to drive my heel towards my back. Driving this heel back, I have a wall there. And I'm going to hold. Don't roll. You should feel your core muscles. You should feel that side glute turning on. And if you think about it, this is like a standing posture, right? I'm using the side of my hip. Okay? And relax. Let's go ahead and do the other side. I'm going to show you from the back so you can get a little bit more experience on that roll, okay? So I'm here. You guys can see my microphone. All right, so my knees are like this, right? I'm in sleeper now on this side just because. I'm going to lift this knee up, and what happens is a lot of people roll back, right? That's using your QL, your erectors to stabilize your knee. Not good, okay? So tuck, suck, and squeeze here, holding, going to lift this knee up, okay? I'm getting this side glute right here. It's called your glute medius. Now I'm going to take my hand, slide it on top of my knee, right? Take my hand, push it into my knee, knee in the hand, push, 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 push. Keep that contraction, right? Feeling through the side. Okay, feels pretty good. And release. If you're not getting it, you got to focus. Make sure your back's not twisted or arched, okay? So, tuck, suck, and squeeze. You can see why that's so important. Lift the top knee up. Hold. Take my hand. Push my hand into the knee. Knee in the hand. Push, 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 push. Keep holding that contraction. Holding that contraction. And release, okay? I know. In my mind, I'm like, this is kind of a boring workout. It's not boring. It's important, okay? Here we go. And top knee comes up. Squeeze the glutes. And I'm going to lift this foot up, okay, for like a modified fire hydrant. I don't have a name for this one yet. I can really feel this side glute turning on. My core is engaged. Tuck, suck, and squeeze. Hold. you don't need a lot of tension, okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to kick this leg out straight, okay? Commonly, people let it drift forward. Don't let it drift forward. Kick the leg out, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Don't loosen your back. Don't twist, okay? Holding, your side glute should be on fire, okay? Now from here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to push my heel back. That's called extension. That's getting that full glute right here. Holding, squeezing everything in. 3, 2, 1, and release. Very nice. All right, so let's go ahead. We're going to roll. Boom, here. We're going to stand up. Boom, here. Walk it forward. This is your opportunity to get water. I'm going to quick stop the camera and turn it back on here for a quick sec. That way the tape will continue to roll. Now we're going to let the exercises begin as if those weren't exercises. Okay, so now we have a really good understanding of what muscles are in play here, all right? Essentially, if I break it down, you got the back of the legs, you got sort of the front, and you got the sides. I mean, that's the easiest way to think about it. So let's go ahead and start with the back of the leg. So I'm going to turn, and if you guys have been doing my classes, you guys know these positions. So I'm going to take my left foot, I'm going to step forward 1 stride length, 2 stride lengths into split stance, okay? Now, from split stance, what I want to imagine is this front foot here is going to be pulling back. I'm choking here. All right, so I'm going to be pulling back with this front foot, getting that sticky leg, okay? That sticky foot. So I'm here, nothing. Pulling back with this front foot, activating the heel, and getting this back of the leg turned on. It's like the extended bridge. It's also like the kneeling lunge, right? So I'm pulling back. You should feel this muscle engaging and release. If you don't, I'll show you. Bring this toe up, right? This is an empty stance. I'm going to drive this heel into the mat. Boom, drive it in. Full contraction, and I'm going to shift my weight forward. I want to feel an isometric tension in the back of my legs, feel an isometric tension in the back of my legs, and release. Very important, okay? Ooh, did you feel that? I want to do the other leg, but let me show you what this becomes. I'm going to take 2 steps with the left leg. 1, and when this foot lands, I catch with this hamstring. Boom. As I'm pulling into that hamstring, notice my knees in perfect alignment, okay? Let's do that one more time. So I'm here, 2 steps. 1, the second step, I'm going to catch. Boom, pulling in. Notice your knees right over your toe. This back of your leg muscle should be falling off at this point, okay? Probably the most important muscle for recovering and stabilizing the hips and the knees, okay? So here, right leg, let's go 1, 2. You might already be able to catch in that right leg, but let's make sure. So I'm standing here in split stance. I'm catching with the right leg. I'm feeling that sticky foot, the back of my legs turned on. Notice your hips. Make sure your hips aren't turning in. Make sure that knee is right over the toe, squeezing. If I can't feel it, I'm going to shift back in empty stance. Take this heel, drive that heel in, hook, stick that foot. As I lean the weight forward, boom, 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 back of the legs. Holding everything. And release. A lot of isometric work here, okay? So now the right leg we're going to catch. So ready? Here we go. 1, I'm going to essentially stick my foot in. I was exaggerating. Stick and catch. Hold, 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 and release. Good. Let's run that again. Here we go. 2 steps. And 1, last one. Catch, hold, 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 and release. Okay, that's actually going to improve the balance too. Good. All right, that was the back of the legs. So let's go into high lunge here, left leg forward, and I'm going to show you the front of the leg. So 1, 2, 3 stride lengths. Make sure your back heel is off the ground, okay? If your back, like I can keep my back heel down, but I'm choosing not to, okay? Just because I can show you. In this position, you can also pull back and get this hamstring going, though much harder, so don't do that. What we're going to do instead is this front heel is going to come up. Look at your knee. Look at your toe, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to push back with that toe, just like the narrow bridge. So I'm here, push back, push back, push back. You're going to feel this front of the muscle. You're going to feel your calves turn on. Push back and recover. Oh, that one gets it, okay? Front heel comes up here. Push back, push, push, and release. I could imagine some of us when we're doing it is we're here and we're pushing and locking this front knee out. Don't do that because that's going to essentially disable this muscle. So I'm here pushing back. It's all about that isometric tension. Okay, let's do the other leg. So right leg, 1, 2, and 3. I'm here. right? That front heel's coming up, and I'm going to take this right leg, I'm going to push back. Push, 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 and recover. Ooh, tuck, suck, and squeeze. Good call. Tuck, suck, and squeeze. Hips up here, and push, 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 and release. I'm not cueing too much in the core standing up because my brains might explode trying to do everything. Okay. You ready for the third part? Now, I like to teach this from a straddle. So we're going to be here, neutral stance. 1, 2 is straddle. Okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my hand, put it on my right hip right here. I'm going to shift my weight into the right hip here, shifting. And I want to feel the weight in this part of the glute, just like when we were on the floor or on our side. So I'm here, shifting, okay? Very commonly, when people do this knee starts to rotate. No. There's a lateral shift. This knee is still in line with this toe. So look, they're here. It's still in line with that foot. I'm not over shifting, right? So I'm here. I want to feel that side hip right there, okay? And then recover. So the exercise is, it's like a modified side lunge. So I'm here, hands on the hip, right? This would actually be your right. So here, boom, I'm going to push and drive and recover. Push and drive into that hip and recover. Push and release. You got to use your mind. Push and release. So I'm here, push and release. Side of the hip, push and release. Good. Side of the hip, push and release. One more, push and release. Good. Okay, to the other side. So I'm here in my straddle. I'm going to take that to the right here, push and release. Okay, so here, right, shift the hip, push out. See, my right knee is kind of caving in, so I'm going to adjust it, get that right hip up and recover. Here, good. Here, push, right hip up and recover. Good, push, right hip up and recover. Okay, let's go on the exercise. So push and release. Good, and push and release. And push and release and push and release. Good. And push and release and push and release. Good. So, I mean, at this point, your legs are probably feeling it. I will note for all my science buffs out there, I did not address the inner thigh squeeze today. That would be more of an advanced subject. So, we're going to put it all together into one marvelous, let's call it a movement. Okay? So, from here, what we're going to do is we're going to turn. This, if you guys get this, you A+, okay? So I'm in squat stance. So start neutral stance, take one stride length apart. I usually go to the right, okay? So my toes are turned out slightly. What I'm going to do, just like we did in the beginning of the class, is I'm gonna bend my knees and push and get my hips going. Okay, I got this. Let's go. This is some wild science right here, folks. Okay, so I'm gonna show you from here. Right, standing up nice and tall. We're going to bend our knees like we did in the beginning of the class. Start by pushing your butt back, okay? When you push your butt back, start to grip the ground with your heels. Oh, okay? Grip the ground with your heels. You should feel the back of these muscles turned on. That's the whole point of the class right here. Feel the back of the muscles, these back legs turned on. And as I descend, I'm going to keep pulling back with my legs. I'm pulling my heels. Keep going. It's like this one, right? So I'm here. I'm pulling back with my hamstring, pulling back, pulling back, pulling back, and standing up. It should be exhausting, okay? Here we go again. Standing up nice and straight. Hips go back. Pull with your heels. Get those back legs. You'll see me actually literally put my hands on there. Back of the legs, back of the legs, back of the legs, back of the legs, back of the legs. And standing up. Oh, very nice. Okay, now for the self-assessment, just try this. No thinking. Get in your squat stance just like we did in the class. Okay, here. And bend the knees, drop down. All right. Notice, did you go deeper? I would imagine you went deeper with less pain. I also would imagine if you looked at your knees, let's do it again. They're just going straight over the toes. And just to show off, you can obviously drop all the way in, okay? Woo! Nice. All right. We're not done yet. I want to teach the push. I do want to teach this, but I don't at the same time because this part gets tricky. But essentially, when we're coming into, from all my yogas, the chair pose, which is here, right? I actually want to be pushing with my toes and pushing into my heels. I'm getting a vibe that might be too complicated, but essentially, Let me teach you a different way. Let me teach you. Sorry, this is a little bit mind-blowing. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is come up onto the balls of your feet, right? This ballet kind of stance. And I want you to push with your toes and push your heels flat. Okay, so you're here. It's just like this one, okay? So I'm here, and I want you to push your heels flat, and you'll feel the muscles in your leg load and release. Heels up, and push your legs flat and release. Good, one more here. And push your legs flat, okay? Now, just to test, see how you do. So here, we're going to go into that front squat position or chair. I'm just going to go down, bending my knees, right? Do you feel any? Feels pretty good, right? And just to show off, look, you can actually sit into like a deep chair. This is like a Tai Chi chair. And relax. Woo! Nice. Okay, good. What you can do to simplify this is work the bridges. Pulling, pushing. When you're doing squats, or let's say we're doing a dance party, I want to look at my knees, make sure I'm not getting this sort of go, okay? And if I feel like I'm getting that, just turn, pull with those legs, push with those feet, okay? And get those muscles turned on, okay? All right, let's close the class down here. A little bit of breathing. Breathing exercise. Okay, I got a new one for you. You guys will like this one. All right, so it's just kind of calm the nervous system down because that was a lot of work. So what we're going to do is, this is a out. So I'm here. Look, I'm going to pivot on this toe. Pivot and in. Notice I'm shifting the weight and I'm pivoting. That's all it is, okay? Now, when we breathe in, our hands are going to come up, and then we're going to exhale with the pivot. So watch me one time. Watch this. Inhale. And you'll notice I'm at this 45-degree angle, and exhale. Coming back down. So breathe in. Pivot. Exhale. Shifting the weight. Good. Breathe in. Inhale. Exhale. Very nice. Inhale. You're letting everything calm down. And exhale. Good. Pivot one more time. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Last one. Inhale. And exhale. So same breathing now without the pivots. Inhale. And exhale. Softening. Good. Breathing in. And exhale. Final breath. Inhale. And then we're going to go all the way up. Exhale. And then fold. Dive into the pool. Releasing. Coming down slowly. Chance for reflecting. I took a different angle today. Try to give you guys some science, some tools that you can use on your own to make sure you're not getting those knee twinges. If you practice enough over time, they will actually start to go away. Okay, so rolling up nice and slow. All right, workout complete. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right, I like this YouTube thing. I think we can keep this going. This is a good time for me. So let's plan to do this on a weekly basis, right? And I'll change colors. We'll do different workouts. If you have suggestions or things you want me to cover, feel free to message me. I will cover those things. If you want more workouts, you'llbefitforever.com. Up in the right-hand corner says free classes. 90% of the classes are right in that tab, so if you want to do some other workouts at home. Okay, so appreciate you guys working with me. This was rehabilitating your knees with doing body weight exercises with isometrics. So very, very good. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I'm Coach Russo. This is You'll Be Fit Forever, and I'll see you next time. Peace.